What your brothers think of the carpet? It's all right.
Yep.
Did you see it? Did you see the carpet?
Oh, that's all.
I never show you this one. Did I ever give you this one, sir?
No, you never gave me that, man. You holding out. You holding out, man.
Okay, so I'm gonna make this video short.
That's cool.
All right. If you have any questions, feel free to type them in. Today we're going to be talking about, let me see here how I work this. Testing, actually. Hold on. Y'all see the live? You see it? I don't see it. That answers that question, huh? All right. Young man Brian, what's going on with you, brother? Young man Brian for him. Give him a hand. I don't know if you checking in with us, Brian, or if you got a brother that you're checking in with. If not, let me know if you are or not. You know what I'm saying? We got a good one. I don't know if y'all see what's going on in the world. Anybody see what's going on in the world? Inflation, right? You see what's going on in Hawaii? Most High in Christ, Brian. Officer Commandant is an excellent brother. Excellent brother. I know him personally. So, howbeit, we're going to talk about a little bit about not only the end of the world, but UFOs, and go into the Bible and show you UFOs in the scriptures and what it means to us. What chariots? Oh, damn, I gave it away. What is a UFO? And are they in the Bible? Well, the government calls them UAPs now. Unidentified aerial phenomena, right? Unidentified flying objects is the more classical term. We'll stick with that. But so-called UFOs, so-called UAPs are chariots of God in the Bible, not man-made drones. I'm not talking about the ones Esau tries to mimic. I'm not talking about those knockoff bootleg chariots that crash. The angels of God's chariots do not crash. They do not run out of gas. They don't need maintenance. You get what I'm saying? They don't need oil changes. They're not subject to the laws of physics, if you will. They don't need to slow down to make a turn. You see what I'm saying? They move like they move, and we'll get into the movement in Ezekiel. Show you how when the angel moves, the chariot moves. We'll go into all of that. We're going to that's our salvation. Brothers and sisters of old, and in the cotton fields, Gadites in the field, witnessed chariots, saw chariots. Columbus journalized the fact that when he was on them voyages and it's pitch black at night in the sea, he's on the sea. Imagine that, brother. Like, okay, y'all ever watch the movie Titanic? Titanic, man, watch that. I mean, it ain't a must watch, but it's a good movie. It's long. It's a long movie. However, it's good because I like watching it because one of their main slogans was, "It's so big, not even God can drown it." And sure enough, it drowned. It sunk, rather, right? But in the movie, when it hit something and the water began to sink the boat or the ship, rather, it was lighting. Like, it was light. You could see everybody from a distance and all that. But then in the middle of the ocean, right? But someone pointed out there was no lighting. It was like the lighting had to have went out. And imagine how terrible it was in the middle of the ocean in the 1900s, in the middle of the ocean, pitch black, screaming, strange sounds. When you're in the ocean, especially if you're black, you think about sharks. You think about, I don't know how to swim. It's cold, the condition, right? All those things, give me the word. It's terrible. It's terrifying. And I say all of that to say this. What's coming is about to be very terrible. It's about to be terrible. It's about to be like, and we're going to read in the scriptures how terrible it's going to be. And it's such a privilege to be in the truth and to know that we're Israelites and to know not to celebrate the white man's pagan holidays, offending God's laws, and so on and so forth. So we're going to go into this Bible. There was another point I was making with the Titanic. What was it?
Well, it was a terrifying, horrifying.
But the part of it being black and dark. What was the lighting? But before that, what was the point? Columbus, the water. I was testing you. So when them voyagers, Marco Polo, so on and so forth, Christopher Columbus, it was black. There were no street lights in the ocean. You know what I'm saying? And he said that he saw chariots go in and out of the water, go in the water, come up. It was a bright light. He said he saw him go in it. Like, it's crazy. But anyways, let's get right into it, man. Give me 2 Kings. Let's show chariots in the Bible, man. Let's show chariots in the Bible. Let's do that. I will follow along. Go ahead. 2 Kings chapter 2. Go with me. Let me know when you brothers there. Okay. All right. 2 Kings. For some reason, Google Chrome and Bible apps don't seem to get along. That's why I like always bring a physical copy, man. Let's read 2 Kings chapter 2, verse 1.
This is the book of 2 Kings chapter 2, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
And it came to pass, when the Lord would take up Elijah into heaven by a whirlwind, that Elijah went up with Elisha from Gilgal.
That Elijah went with Elisha from Gilgal. So what's going on is Elijah is about to be taken up. He's about to be taken up by way of what? A whirlwind. Notice the terminology the scribes and the prophets used when they wrote down these accounts, these biblical accounts, these true biblical accounts, real history. This is not fiction. You see? And so how it goes is Elisha first didn't want Elijah to go, but then he said, when you go, Baba Kushah, please give me a double portion of thy spirit and your mantle. And Elijah told him that if you see me leave, then so be it. So we'll see how he leaves. Right? Let's go to 2 Kings 2 and 11. Let's jump to 11. I will recommend reading the entire chapter in your free time, but for time's sake, due to all the scriptures I want to show you, we're going to get right to it. But read the whole chapter when you get a chance. 2 Kings 2 and 11. Go ahead, read it. Y'all can take turns as well, if you like.
This is the book of 2 Kings, chapter 2, verse 11. And it came to pass, as they still went on and talked, that behold, there appeared a chariot of fire and horses of fire, and parted them both asunder.
Mm-hmm.
And Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven.
So it says that, and it came to pass, as they still went on and talked, behold, there appeared a chariot of fire and horses of fire, and parted them both asunder, meaning separated them, right? And Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven. What did Elisha say? Go to the next verse.
Verse 12. And Elisha saw it, and he cried, my father, the chariot of Israel, and the horsemen thereof.
He said, the what?
The chariot of Israel.
The chariot of Israel. That's what he said. The chariot of Israel. That's why brothers and sisters in during slavery sing the famous so-called Negro spiritual, swing low, sweet chariot, coming forth to carry me home. I looked over Jordan, and what did I see? Coming forth to carry me home. A band of angels coming for me, coming forth to carry me home. Jordan is what Jordan? Michael Jordan? No, the Jordan River in Israel. We know. But more importantly, why was they singing that? Because they were seeing them. They were seeing them like how we see them sometimes today. You understand? And mind you, this is thousands of years ago. This is, Elijah, no more than maybe 3,500 years ago. Maybe, don't quote me on it. Maybe, right around there, right? This is a little after King Solomon. Yeah, so roundabout there, give or take, right? Point is, there was no American Airlines. There was no, anything flying, no NASA space programs, nothing. So to see something in the sky was miraculous. It was that of, wow, this is amazing. That's why when many prophets saw these vehicles, it was the best way they could describe it is a chariot, because the vehicle that they use, it would be horses attached to the end, and they're on it. You know what I'm saying? That's what we used. Like if we saw, say there was no airplanes, and I saw something flying in the sky, a car, and I saw two cars in the sky. It's known as a technological frame of reference. They were referring to what they had during their times, and they explained it the best way they could. So chariots of fire. You understand? Let's get another example. Give me Acts 1 and 9. Let's show you now. We all know Christ gloriously endured unto the end, suffered on the cross, and he died, right? He died. But then we all know he rose again He defeat death, right? That's amazing, by the way. Christ defeated death. He ventured amongst the disciples for a season, broke things down to him. I'll get to your brother, your question in just a second, Brian. 1 second. And this is what happened, right? Christ, this is how Christ didn't die again. Christ didn't die, resurrect, and die again. Christ was resurrected, and this is what happened. This is how he left. Acts 1 and 9.
The book of Acts, chapter 1, verse 9.
Go ahead.
And when he had spoken these things, while they beheld, he was taken up.
He was taken what?
He was taken up.
He was taken up. Go ahead.
And a cloud.
And a what?
And a cloud.
Brother, give me Psalms 104 and 3. He was taken up by a cloud. You see? He was taken up by a cloud. Now, is this the clouds that produce rain? What kind of clouds are these? Are these stratus clouds? Or cumulus clouds? What kind of clouds are these?
Like specifically, or like
Yeah.
I don't know. Once this cause distraction, I guess.
The cloud that took Yahushua up into the sky. It's the last time he was on earth. Go ahead.
They were likening it unto a cloud. So it was like a shape of they were giving it a similarity or a similitude to a cloud because it was in the sky and it was floating.
Okay. Yes, that's true. Also, chariots can cloak as clouds. You probably got a chariot. Never mind. But they're there. You understand? But the Bible refers to him as what? Psalms 104 and 3. Read that for me real quick.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 104, verse 3. Who layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters, who maketh the clouds his chariot.
Who maketh the what?
Who maketh the clouds his chariot.
When you see clouds in this context, when you see the word cloud, it's talking about the chariots. You see what I'm saying? It's talking about the chariots of God. How do I know? Because he was received by a cloud. It took him like it took Elijah. Right? Keep reading. Acts. That's what.
While they beheld, he was taken up, and a cloud received him out of their sight.
Keep going.
Verse 10. And while they looked steadfastly toward heaven as he went up, behold, 2 men stood by them in white apparel.
Right. 2 men stood by the disciples. The head man in charge now, Peter. They all seen this. They all seen it with their own eyes. And this eventually, this also strengthened their faith. Right? Keep going.
Verse 11. Which also said, ye men of Galilee.
Ye men of Galilee, read.
Why stand ye gazing up into heaven?
Why are you looking in the sky? Go ahead.
This same Jesus, Yahushua,
right,
which is taken up from you
which
into heaven,
which is taken up from you. Keep going.
Shall so come in like manner as ye have seen him go into heaven.
So is Christ going to be going to do 9 months in the womb again and grow up and get his diaper changed and deal with knucklehead Israelites? No. Nope. He's not doing that again, brother. He's not going on that cross twice. That's not happening. So how's he coming? How's Christ coming back? Go ahead. With the chariots. How do we know? This same Yahushua, which is taken up from you, these two men were angels, by the way, which is taken up from you into heaven, shall so come in like manner as ye have seen him go into heaven. Give me Revelation 1:7. Remember, clouds, chariots, a wheel in the middle of a wheel. It's all referring to what you know as a so-called UFO. Brother says, Salakia, sir, since we're on the topic of chariots, have you seen the video like 3 weeks ago of the Iranian government shooting at a chariot and they couldn't hurt it at all? I don't know if you've seen that. I did see that. I've seen several videos like so. They cannot, there's not a bullet any heathen has that can scratch a chariot. You see? The chariots of God are not bound to, our physics, gravity, and density. Like angels are not restricted by that, like we are. You see a chariot, a real chariot video, you'll see it. It's going super fast. Stop on a dime. To the left, to the right, up, down, gone. And another thing too with chariots, they don't go on joy rides. You understand? If you see chariots, they're handling business. They're over there for a reason. You see, a lot of times you'll see chariots in the midst of hurricanes, tsunamis, right before a volcano erupts. They catch a chariot on camera. They're out there, brother. This is a very real thing. Go ahead.
Is that them carrying out that order, sir?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 1, verse 7.
This is a reference to the return of Yahushua. Go ahead.
Behold, he cometh with clouds.
Christ cometh with clouds. What are those clouds going to be, Akim? Chariots. You see? Go ahead.
And every eye.
Every what?
And every eye.
Every eye. Some eyes.
And every eye.
Every eye. Go ahead.
Shall see him.
Uh-huh.
And they also which pierced him.
And they also which pierced him, those filthy Romans. How they gonna see him? How they gonna see him? They did that deed 2,000 years ago. They beat a crown of thorns in his head 2,000 years ago. They mocked him and spit on him and said, "Hail, King of the Jews," 2,000 years ago. So how are they gonna see? Anybody want to take a wild guess? If you want to, or not a wild guess, but you want to take a stab at it, feel free to type in your answers in the comment section. Anybody want to take a stab at it? Go ahead.
Will they be reincarnated?
They'll be reincarnated. You gonna say that? I knew he was gonna say that. Right? They're gonna see it because those same people are here today. Just like the spirit of the scribes and Pharisees is here today. How do I know? Because we're here today. We're here. You see? Not only you are who your father is, but you are your fathers. Let me blow your mind. You are your fathers. Every few odd generations, you come back on earth. But the point is this: those filthy Romans, the same ones that pierced his side and beat nails in his hands, big rusty iron nails, and caused great pain. They put holes in his feet. Like, that is, oh my gosh, brother. That's terrible. It's terrible. After, they made him carry his cross miles. You see? Those same evil men, I want to say something else. They're going to see Christ's return. Right. Hell, they former life might flash right before their eyes. I don't know. They might be like, "Whoa, I was that." Then they meet their demise. They'll be unalived. So let's read that one more time, and let's get the next precept.
The book of Revelation, chapter 1, verse 7. Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him.
What's going on, young man Jay? We over here going over the chariots and the end of this world. So we got that. Give me Isaiah 66 and 15. 66 and 15. Bible Kushah. Read it when you got it.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 66, verse 15. For behold, the Lord will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind.
The Lord might come with fire.
The Lord will come with fire.
The Lord will come with fire. That's what's going to happen. These things are going to happen. They have to happen. You know why? Because abortion is at an all-time high. Hell, abortion is a thing, period. You see? Abortion is a thing. Tattoos are a thing. Whores are glorified in America, brother. Women have this, I don't need a man attitude. I mean, everything is flipped upside down. The economy is trash. You need 2 jobs and 2 side hustles to make ends meet. The cost of living is through the roof. No pun intended. You get what I'm saying? Rent. Brother, California, it is of the Lord's mercies. I have a roof over my head. You understand? No joke. That's for all of us. It is of the Lord's mercies we have our daily bread. Like a lot of things in the truth, you have to really consider, like, man, if it wasn't for the Lord, I wouldn't have this, I wouldn't have that. Because a lot of times we get so caught up in what we don't have. You got to start, as they say, counting your blessings, man. The Most High looking out for you more than you giving him credit for. Your children healthy, your ribs healthy, you're healthy. You might be battling stuff, but you still pushing, you see? So don't get discouraged, because all of these things must happen so that Christ can return. And when he comes back, he's coming with fire. And what else? Isaiah 66.
For behold, the Lord will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind.
With his chariots like a whirlwind. What did Elijah say? What did Elijah and Elisha see? A whirlwind. Like a whirlwind. Quick. You see? Quick, think of like a tornado. Quick. These chariots they're gonna crack that sky, and Christ is gonna lead a band of 200 million angels. That's in the Bible. I'll show you that. This is gonna be reality. This is what you like. There's nothing wrong with going to school, getting a bachelor's, associates. There's nothing wrong with working a decent slavery. There's nothing wrong with those things. But don't put your faith and trust in this place, because this place, as you see before your very eyes, is crumbling. It's crumbling. Like I mentioned, the economy is crumbling. Like, you brothers familiar with BRICS? Like, these foreign countries are tired of America. They want their own currency that has no affiliation with the American dollar. China, I mean, the day China says, all right, I want my debt money, America is screwed. You see, the dollar is backed by nothing. It's a Federal Reserve note. It's not backed by gold. It's just monopoly money. It's literally monopoly money. You understand? And all the pressure everybody on earth is feeling with the high cost of living, the wars, the diseases, the loss of loved ones. It's all pressure from God. It's all pressure from the Most High to one, if you're Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian, to change, or two, if you're an oppressor, you know your time is short.
Right.
The time of ruling is short. But I want to ramble on. Keep reading that.
Okay. The book of Isaiah, chapter 66, verse 15. For behold, the Lord will come with fire and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury
Mm-hmm.
and his rebuke with flames of fire.
To render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire. That's what it is, brother. To rebuke it with flames of fire. Why? Because at the same time of them chariots coming, what's going to happen? Go ahead. Bombs, brother. Bombs. They got nuclear capability. You don't think it's going to be used? Give me Isaiah 54:16. Let me show you how cold the Lord is. Right? Baba Kashai. Read that when you get a chance. Go ahead.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 54, verse 17.
16.
16. Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire.
Right. He said, read it again.
Behold, I have created the smith.
I have created the smith. Follow along. Go ahead.
That bloweth the coals in the fire.
So you have a smith that bloweth the coals in the fire. Think of like blacksmiths back in medieval times, right? Blacksmith was a trade that was so popular and is popular today. But you imagine a blacksmith forging swords and heating them and going through the whole process of making sure the sword is durable and sharp at the tip and the handle is grippable and customized even, right? That's a smith. Well, here it is. God said, I have created a smith that bloweth the coals in the fire. He's giving you an analogy. He's painting a picture. Who is this talking about? Go ahead. I'll let you take a stab at it. But go ahead. Keep reading.
And that bringeth forth an instrument for his work.
And that bringeth forth an instrument for his work, for the Most High's work, not the blacksmith's work, for his work. Is that it on that? Keep going.
And I have created the waster to destroy.
And I have created the waster to destroy. Who could tell me what this is talking about? Go ahead.
The Lord's basically saying he's making the weapons that's going to destroy the earth.
He is. Get that brother a hand. He is. He is indeed. How?
By using everyone else to do his work.
Using who?
The white man.
Using who though?
Russia, China.
They're scientists. That's how cold the Most High is, brother. Oppenheimer? You seen that movie? Check it out. The Most High put the spirit on him to be able to split that atom. You see? And he's the Most High so cold, he's using them for their own demise. You see? And he said, I've created the waster, the thing that is going to leave the land waste and desolate. I have created the waster, those are your bombs, to destroy. And that's what they're going to do. Simultaneously, as the chariots of God shoot lasers on all your major landmarks in America and all major buildings, making sure there is no unburned building, etc. It's going to be a glorious day. Give me Revelation 9:16. Go ahead.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 9, verse 16. And the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000, and I heard the number of them.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 17. And thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them, having breastplates of fire.
Wait, did you read 16?
Come on.
Just 16.
The book of Revelation, chapter 9, verse 16. And the number of the army of the horsemen.
And the number of the army of the horsemen, go ahead.
Were 200,000.
Were 200,000. That's 200 million. 200,000, and then add 3 more zeros. You see, that's 200 million angels. You see, give me Psalms 68 and 17. Christ is coming back. Like the Most High is known as the Lord of hosts. His hosts are those angels. Hosts meaning what? Armies. See? Young man Jay said, if I may, sir, I have a precept. Isaiah 48 and 10. Behold, I have refined thee, but not with silver. I have chosen thee in the furnace of affliction. Absolutely. What you go through in the daily life, all the things that want to sway you from following the Most High, right? The bad news from the doctor, etc. You a brother or sister in this truth, you know what it is to suffer. That's the furnace of affliction. That's refining us as gold is refined. Like gold has dross removed from it, you have dross and impurities that God is removing from you. And God is going to put you through things or allow you to be put through things so that he can strengthen you. Like the world is in a whack. You know why? The world is freaking out because they don't know what it's like to choose which bill is not going to get paid this month. They don't know nothing about that. They don't know nothing about food stamps. They don't know nothing about that. They don't know nothing about being late on your rent 2 weeks. They don't know nothing about that. So this pressure that you've been going through it. You've been going through it. If you ain't a car breaking down, right? Car problems, child support. Like you're a brother in this truth. The Most High is going to make you unmovable, steadfast, rock solid. But how? By the things you go through and you enduring it. Not all men endure it. Not all men can resist temptation. Not all men can sleep in in their car because their car broke down on the freeway. You understand? Not all man can go without seeing their children because they would rather remove themselves from an evil woman who committed adultery on them versus trying to make things work with her. You know, brothers go through things. You understand? But it's all to the glorification of the return of Yahweh Shai Mashiach, because it's going to happen, brother. Right. It's going to happen. How do I know it's going to happen? Because Daniel said that the Babylonians will have their time, and then the Persians will come and have their time, and then the Greeks will have their time, and then from the Greeks, the 4 generals, Cassander, Ptolemy, Seleucus, and Lasamicus, when they will have their rule, and those 2 prominent generals will have their time, and they will run what's known as the Seleucid Empire and the Ptolemaic Empire and dynasty. And then from them, Daniel prophesied that the Romans would come into play, and Daniel prophesied that America would come into power. All those things happen. All those things happen. And those are about roughly 600 years before the birth of Christ. But Daniel, through the power of the Most High, prophesied that Christ is going to come back and remove the crowns off the heads of today's rulers and emperors. It's going to happen. Why do I know it's going to happen? Because everything else happened. Right. So this is going to happen. Go ahead, brother. Where we at?
68,
Yeah.
The book of Psalms, chapter 68, verse 17.
Uh-huh.
The chariots of God.
The chariots of what?
The chariots of God.
The chariots of the Most High. Read on.
The chariots of God are 20,000, even thousands of angels.
20,000, even thousands of angels. Go ahead.
The Lord is among them as in Sinai in the holy place.
You see that? And the Lord is going to be among them. You see? Give me First Thessalonians 4. First Thessalonians 4, chapter 4. And read verse 16.
The book of 1 Thessalonians, chapter 4, verse 16.
This is what we have to look forward to. I look forward to this. This is my life. I don't care about anything else. Everything else comes second. Which is why, as a brother, you have to be locked in. No excuses. Get to work. Christ said, oh, yeah. Go ahead and read that. I'm going to get you what Christ said.
What verse, sir?
16, yes, I get it.
The book of 1 Thessalonians, chapter 4, verse 16.
This is what Christ said real quick.
Take heed unto thyself.
Not that part. I'm going to read it, but go ahead.
Oh,
No, you got it. That's my fault. Oh, yeah. 1 Thessalonians.
4:16.
That's right.
The book of 1 Thessalonians, chapter 4, verse 16. For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trump of God. And the dead in Christ shall rise first.
You hear that? For the Lord himself, Christ, shall descend from heaven. Remember the angel said, so shall he also come, the same way he left with them angels. Glorious appearance. He gonna make his grand appearance, rather. For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trump of God. It's going to be a loud sound throughout the earth, similar to that of a shofar. Like how we blow the ram's horn, it'll be like that. And the dead in Christ shall rise first. Keep going. You know, when Christ died on the cross and that great earthquake happened, you know, there were brothers who rose from the grave and went and visited their families. Keep going. Christ said, I am the resurrection. You believe in Christ, you'll never die. That's why you're in this chair right now. Because you never die. You believe you sat oceanside listening to Christ teach. Lord willing, that was us. Keep going.
Verse 17. Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together.
Then, because there are brothers and sisters who are resting, rather, right? They're resting right now, right? This could be a brother from 1,000 years ago who knows put in what amount of work, and the Lord is just going to let him rest until he comes back. Or brothers who unfortunately sleep today. They're going to be risen up from the grave. But then there are those of us which will be alive at that time and remain, who endure everything coming. Keep going.
Shall be caught up together with them in the clouds.
And in the what?
With them in the clouds.
In the clouds, in those chariots. The chariots have insides. What they look like, I can't give it to you. I don't know. However, I imagine there's going to be some seats on there. You understand? And we're not going in these bodies. I'm not about to go up there with, see this callus on my knuckles? It's not going on. That's not going to be on my new body. Ain't gonna be no, slash across my face. We're gonna be perfect. I ain't gonna have no damn acne. You understand? I'm joking a little bit, but I'm hinting at the fact that we're gonna be given new bodies. That's the point. But go ahead.
Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air.
To meet the Lord in the air. You've been to countless classes. You study the Bible. You resist temptation. You really follow this truth. You conduct yourself in a righteous manner, and you hear about the return of Christ, the return of Christ, the return of Christ, and then the day comes when Christ returns and saves us from hell. This is hell. This is hell. The LGBT propaganda. The man could be a woman. The woman could be a man. These whores on TV. These whores at the supermarket. I mean, these evil men that kill their brother in gangs, and just the whole culture of America and the culture of the earth is so evil. And then you come to the point where you're blessed with the opportunity to be beamed up into the sky and meet the Lord. And so shall we ever be with the Lord. Meaning we good now. It's over. Right. It is done. It is finished. That's worth not sleeping with that man's wife. You understand? That is absolutely worth not stealing. That is worth not celebrating your birthday. That is worth going to camp every week. That is absolutely worth sacrificing your personal life for this truth. It is. Right. This should inspire you. It's worth it. I mean, it really don't even balance out. I mean, we do the things we do, the work we do, because we have to do it. And really because we enjoy doing it. But we know that there is a reward for the faithful. I want to read this in Matthew 24 and 46. And it reads, 45. Who then is a faithful and wise servant, whom his Lord hath made ruler over his household, to give them meat in due season? Blessed is that servant whom his Lord, when he cometh, shall find so doing. Right? Verily I say unto you that he shall make him ruler over all his goods. But and if that evil servant shall say in his heart, my Lord delayeth his coming, and shall begin to smite his fellow servants, and to eat and drink with the drunken. It's like it. The Lord of that servant shall come in a day when he looketh not for him, and in an hour that he is not aware of, and shall cut him asunder, and appoint him his portion with the hypocrites. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. The point is this. Christ said, who is a wise brother that's working? And who is he going to find so doing when his Lord returneth? You want to be found when Christ comes back. You don't want to be asleep. You don't want to be, lazy. You ain't been productive. You've been, lackadaisical, lukewarm. Go ahead.
So like I said, you started at 47?
I started at 46, but you really could start 42. Watch ye therefore, for ye know not what hour your Lord doth come. But the point being is that he's coming. And what you gonna be doing when he comes? Exactly. Where was we at? We was in Thessalonians. And did I ask for something else? Let me get Revelation 11. Who got the Apocrypha? Give me Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5. If you're watching the live stream, let us know where you're watching from. Let us know. Type in the comments. What's going on, Malakma? I see you, man. Let us know where you're watching from, man. Let us know. You got it?
11, what verse, sir?
10.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 11, verse 10. And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them and make merry, and shall send gifts one to another.
Not 11 and 10. Revelation 11 and 11.
The book of Revelation, chapter 11, verse 11. And after 3 days and in half the spirit of life from God entered into them. And they stood.
Right. After 3 days and a half, right? This is, I don't know if y'all following along with the Revelation classes, but we'll get to chapter 11. But I'll give you a little snippet. It says, and after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from God entered into them. Who's the them? Us. What is the spirit of God or the spirit of life from God? That's this truth. Because the spirit of life, right? Don't think of something floating around. Think about the spirit of life. Christmas, right? How do you know someone's in a Christmas spirit? The spirit of Christmas.
They decorate their house and humming that song.
They decorating their house and what else?
Wearing that ugly sweater for Christmas and wearing the hat.
Right. So you know that they're in the spirit of Christmas based on what? Give it to me plain. How they act, or based on what
they're doing.
Based on what they do. Y'all both right. Based on what they do. So keeping the commandments is leading you to what? Life. Spirit of life. Spirit of life from God entered into them, and they stood upon their feet. You ever heard the scriptures, and the righteous shall stand in great boldness in the face of such as have afflicted him? I believe you got that in Wisdom of Solomon. See how that just pieces together perfectly. And great fear fell upon them which saw them, because they see us on them corners. And those that the powers that be temporarily, right, are in great fear, because they know that they have but a short time, because the triumphant of the wicked is short. Go ahead, keep reading.
Verse 12. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud.
And they ascended into heaven. Those brothers and the elect and the remnant, the 144,000 and the 1/3, right? Are y'all familiar with those terms? Right? That's all biblical terminology. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud. You see that? You see all the clouds and whirlwinds and chariots? And they ascended up into heaven in a cloud. We just read in Thessalonians that we're going to meet him in the clouds, in the sky. And keep reading. When it says, and after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life, the 3 days and a half, it's not literal. It just means it's after a certain amount of time, after a long period of time. Go ahead, keep going.
and their enemies beheld them.
Uh-huh.
Verse 13.
Uh-huh.
And the same hour was there a great earthquake.
Uh-huh. That's it on that. But this is talking about when those chariots crack the sky and we're delivered, and it says their enemies beheld them. Who are our enemies? You know who hate Black and Hispanics. You know who hate Native Americans. You see? Wisdom of Solomon 5:23.
This was
The
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5, verse 23.
The brother said, if I may, sir, it's the truth that brought you to life, because before it, you was walking dead. That is absolutely 100% correct. That's why it says in Revelation 11:8, and their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city. That's America. The dead bodies is not talking about physical dead bodies, but spiritually being dead. Which spiritually, that's what you need. Spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt. We all witnessed the Egyptian aspect of this kingdom. Now we're witnessing the Sodom aspect of this kingdom. Where also our Lord was crucified or crossed out. See? And instead of his real likeness, they put a Caucasian as Christ. Nonetheless, Wisdom of Solomon 5:23.
Yea, a mighty wind shall stand up against them.
A mighty wind shall stand up against them. Keep going.
And like a storm shall blow them away.
Uh-huh.
Thus iniquity shall lay waste the whole earth, and ill dealing shall overthrow the thrones of the mighty.
It's absolutely true. I want you to give me Wisdom of Solomon 5:1. So like it. That's it. Remember the clouds. The enemies beheld them, and Christ left in the cloud, and then the angel said that he's coming back the same way. Then we went to Revelation 1:7. Behold, the Lord cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him. Then we read in Isaiah 66:15, for behold, the Lord shall come with his chariots like a whirlwind to render his anger and rebuke with flames of fire. Let's read that. Oh, don't let me get to Exodus. A pillar of fire by night and a cloud by day. What you think that was? Guiding us to safety. A chariot or an angel of God or the Most High providing us protection. We're about to witness miraculous things. We're going to witness miraculous things. That's why your faith has to be intact, or you're going to die from the sight of it. If you're wicked, a lot of people going to die from faint hearts. They're going to hear them sirens go off and die from panic. You're going to hear them sirens go off. First of all, your phone's going to go out. Imagine when your phones go out and there's no cellular connection, there's no Wi-Fi, there's no internet, there's no checking Facebook for a feed, there's no news working. All you hear is grotesque sounds, just eerie noises, alarms going off, people screaming, babies crying, women freaking out. The woman gonna be the woman gonna be, help me. The same woman that's, I'm out of town thugging with their rounds. Yeah, they gonna be, help. Read that.
The Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5, verse 1. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness.
Remember that in Revelation 11:11, and after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from God entered into them, just like it did with Adam. And they stood upon their feet. Read that again.
Then shall the righteous man shall stand in great boldness.
Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness. Read on.
Before the face of such as have afflicted him.
Before the face of such as have afflicted him. When we're out there on them streets, we're before the face of such as have afflicted us, brother. I be looking at the faces of those oppressors when we say the things that we say. And a lot of times, they do buck up against it and, oh, you're hateful, blah, blah, blah. But a lot of times they can't help but just, yeah, you got a point. We did some cruel things to them. Go ahead.
and made no account of his labor.
They made no account of our labors. They don't give a damn about what we went through as a people in slavery and how we built this kingdom. Go ahead.
Verse 2, when they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear.
When they see what? Keep going.
And shall
So
be,
there's something that they're going to see. There's something that our enemies are going to see that they're going to be afraid of. That's worth fearing. Go ahead.
and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation.
And they're going to be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation. What's going to be that salvation? Whose salvation? The man that they didn't account his labors, the righteous that stood upon their feet. His salvation is going to be strange to them. What is that? The chariots of God, brother. The return of Christ. Because we just niggas in the ghettos of America. I don't know if they told you, but Los Angeles is ghetto. It's ghetto, brother. It is. It's just ghetto. That's just what it is. Like the projects. Oh my gosh. East LA is crazy. You understand? Think of all the ghettos of America. But then imagine brothers being beamed up from those areas. Before our oppressors, there's going to be a large multitude of people who die here in America. But before they die, they're going to see you live. And that's going to kill them. They're going to be like, wow. Him? That's crazy. And then they're going to die. Then that wall of fire is just, as it's getting close to them, they're going to see you. Smack the skin off their bones.
That's right.
That's in the Bible. Zechariah. I'll read that. That was it on that, right?
There was a little more stuff.
Go ahead.
And shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all that they looked for.
So far beyond all that they looked for. Because they thinking that, first of all, they don't believe in Christ. They think Christ is a white man and he's going to come and save them. And, the zebra is going to, share cupcakes with lions and, But this is what the Bible says in Zechariah 14:12. Zechariah 14:12. And it reads, and this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem, our enemies. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. What's going to cause that? Nuclear fire. You ever seen that movie Terminator 2, Judgment Day, where Sarah Connor was on that fence? And she was on that fence because she saw them bombs drop. Bow, like a big flash. And then she started to melt. The fire melt her tongue out her mouth and the eyes in her eye sockets. Gone, brother. And that is the time that we are coming into. That's the time we're coming into. Get a couple more and then we'll go ahead and wrap it up. So we got Revelation. We got Zechariah. Give me Zechariah 5:1. Let's look at the prophet Zechariah. Zechariah, if you read the book of Ezra, when they were rebuilding the temple, right? And during the time of the Persians and the Medes, that empire, that time frame in Israelite history, Zechariah was amongst those men who had hand in rebuilding the temple alongside Ezra, Nehemiah, Zerubbabel, and Joshua, the high priest at the time. You could read Haggai as well. Haggai was around, the prophet Haggai. A lot of these brothers in the Bible, were contemporaries. They were around each other. They knew one another. See? Go ahead.
Come. The book of Zechariah, chapter 5, verse 1. Then I turned and lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll.
A what?
A flying roll.
A flying roll. Go ahead.
Verse 2. And he said unto me, what seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof 10 cubits. Verse 3. Then said he unto me, this is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth.
Mm-hmm.
For every one that stealeth shall be cut off as on his side according to it.
Mm-hmm.
And every one that sweareth shall be cut off as on that side according to it. Verse 4.
Uh-huh.
I will bring it forth.
What is this flying roll talking about? Zechariah saw a chariot. He saw a chariot in the shape of a scroll. You see? And like a cigar-shaped chariot damn near. Right? But he saw a flying roll. Go ahead. What is the job of this chariot? Go ahead.
Verse 4. I will bring it forth, saith the Lord of hosts.
The Lord said he's going to bring them forth, saith the Lord of hosts. Keep reading.
And it shall enter into the house of the thief.
And it's going to enter. These chariots are going to enter into the house of the thief. Because the Lord knows that the house of the thief isn't his house.
Right.
He stole it. He's a thief. You understand? Who's the thief? Esau. He's going to enter into the house of the thief. America. Keep going.
And into the house of him that sweareth falsely by my name.
And do they not swear on the Bible when they're inaugurated as president? On their currency. Do they not say, in God we trust? They swear falsely. Keep going.
Oh, God. And it shall remain in the midst of his house, and shall consume it with timber thereof, and the stones thereof. Verse 5. Then the angel that talked with me went forth.
Let's sit on that. They're gonna destroy this place right along with Christ. You think the angels is gonna make a grand appearance and just stand in the sky? You have angels that's gonna get busy. You're gonna get busy. Give me Jeremiah 16 and 14. During the time of Moses, the Lord sent 10 plagues, turned their waters into blood, even in their water pots, brought forth frogs, flies, lice, killed the firstborn of every creature in the land of Egypt. Great, wondrous, miraculous, amazing events, right? Absolutely happened. But this time around, unlike back in the day during the time of Moses, when our exodus from Egypt, the Lord caused the Red Sea to open up, and we walked on dry land. The Lord caused the waters to stand as an heap. You know what that means? So imagine this is the Red Sea. It's water. But then the Lord opened it. And the heap was the walls, like a wall. The water stood as a wall. Like the water wasn't like in that movie, The Exodus, Gods and Kings with Christian Bale, which was a horrible movie, in my opinion, depicting the Red Sea event, the splitting of the Red Sea. It made it like it was just flat. No, the water stood as a heap. There was like 2 walls of water. Probably saw, you understand, something swimming in it as you walking by. You understand? That was our salvation. That was our exodus. And we speak about it to this day. So much so we have Passover every year because it was amazing. You know, in the kingdom of heaven, we're going to have another feast day. There's going to be another day we absolutely honor every year.
That's right.
And it's going to be because of this right here. And think of how glorious Exodus, Moses, the burning bush. Think of how excellent that story and account was in our history. Check what the Most High says right here in Jeremiah 16:14. Go ahead.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 16, verse 14.
Uh-huh.
Therefore, behold, the day come, saith the Lord, that it shall no more be said, the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. Verse 15.
Right. The Most High is saying, it'll no longer be said, the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from Egypt. Right? Why? Go ahead.
Verse 15. But the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north.
But the Most High is famous. The God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob is known for the exodus of the Israelites from Egypt and Egyptian bondage and captivity, and his wonders of what he did to the Egyptians in the defense of the Israelites of antiquity. Right? But the Most High is no longer, that's not what he's going to be most famous for. He's going to be most famous for delivering the Israelites from the land of the north. What's the land of the north? We're here. Keep going.
And from all the lands whither he had driven
And
them.
from not only the land of the north is the main place we are. But God came back and said, not only the land of the north, but everywhere they are. The UK, Europe, France, Brazil, Central America, South America, Canada, Mexico, wherever Israelites are, the ones that's going to be delivered. He said what? Say it again.
And from all the lands whither he had driven them.
That is going to happen. That's why we're in the truth now. That's why we go to camp. That's why we teach class. That's why we come up with, if you're not a brother that can teach yet, that's why you study. That's why you live righteously. That's why you resist Satan and temptation. That's why you overcome your flesh. That's why you go to war with your flesh. That's why you go to war. Because you want to be a part of this great salvation.
That's for sure.
You should want that. You should want salvation more than anything. It's the main, everything else comes second. Go ahead.
And I will bring them again into their land.
And he's going to bring us into our land. You know, I can go to Isaiah 14:1-2. For behold, the Lord will yet choose Israel and will have mercy on Israel and will set them in their own land. Meaning what? We're not in our homeland. Native American brothers and sisters, we're not gonna be in America no more. We're going home. Going home. We're going back to Israel. Keep going.
And I will bring them again into their own land that I gave unto their fathers.
You see that, right? A land that flowed with milk and honey, prosperity. Keep going.
Verse 16.
Man, we're gonna go back to that old world style living too. Like that ancient style of living. And an Xbox, brother. You kidding me? No. Go ahead.
Verse 16. Behold, I will send for many fishers, saith the Lord,
Mm-hmm.
and they shall fish them. And after
That's it on that. Give me last scripture, Zephaniah chapter 3. So we as brothers, if I may say, their God stand for gold, oil, and destruction. That could be true, but we know that who they make it seem like they're talking about is the God of the Bible. Hence why God bless America. or, you know, swear on the Bible. But they swear falsely. Zephaniah chapter 3. Verse 17. Let's read that. Let's bring it home.
The book of Zephaniah, chapter 3 and verse 17.
Uh-huh.
The Lord thy God in the midst of thee is mighty. He will save.
He might save.
He will save.
He could save.
He will save.
He will save. I'm trying to be a part of that. I'm trying to be a part of that. Go ahead.
He will rejoice over thee with joy.
Uh-huh.
He will rest in his love.
Keep going.
He will joy over thee with singing.
Keep going.
Verse 18.
What did the Most High say? Keep going.
I will gather them that are sorrowful for the solemn assembly,
Uh-huh.
who are thee.
Who are of thee.
Who are of thee.
Keep going.
To whom the reproach of it was a burden.
Being in this truth. The reproach of it. That's why many prophets say the burden of the word of the Lord by Malachi. The burden of the word of the Lord by Habakkuk. The burden of the so on and so forth. Right? Because we know exactly what comes with being in this truth.
Right.
Keep going.
Verse 19. Behold, at that time I will undo all that afflict thee.
Keep going. Read it again.
Behold, at that time I will undo all that afflict thee.
I will undo all that afflict thee. Meaning what? We are afflicted. Right? God is going to undo it. Not man, not me, not legislation that they pass and vote on. No. Not something that they vote in their city council meetings. God is going to undo it. Keep going.
And I will save her that halteth, and gather her that was driven out.
Talking about us. Keep going.
And I will get them praise and fame in every land where they have been put to shame.
And the Most High is going to get brothers and sisters of the Israelite race who serve him praise and fame in every land where they shamed us, where they called us nigger, wetback, savages. They're going to look at us with high regard because they're going to know that, number one, there is a God in Israel, right, and that we are Israel. Keep going. The earth is going to respect us as the children of Israel. Ain't going to be no, oh, we're the real Jews. No, we're the real Jews. Ain't going to be no none of that, by the way. Keep going.
Verse 20. At that time will I bring you again, even in the time that I gather you, for I will make you a name and a praise among all people of the earth.
Uh-huh.
When I turn back your captivity before your eyes,
saith
the Lord.
When I turn back your captivity before your eyes. That's powerful. Before your very eyes. It's going to happen, man. Like, well, now we work a 9 to 5, 5 to 12, graveyard shift. You deal with your woman and kids. You pay rent. You pay bills. You know, car problems, doctor visits, child support. You deal with everything under the sun. But just know that all these things, all the ways of this life that Esau set up and designed, debt, credit scores, all that is going in the trash. It'll be a thing of the past. There will be a day in the kingdom of heaven where there will be no more Edomites. Edomites won't exist no more. There'll be a wax museum, if you will, of Edomites in suits and ties and how they used to dress. And we're going to show our sons and daughters, or our grandsons and our granddaughters. They're going to ask us, is this the man that ran the earth? This is him? This the one that put us in slavery? What? Come on, man. That's in the Bible, by the way. It's very important that we stay the course, brother. Don't get disenchanted. Keep fighting. Fight your demons. Fight laziness. Get to camp. Do the work of God. Resist Satan. And we're on the right track. We're on the right track, man. We're on the right track. Be sincere, man. Any other questions? I'll leave the floor open to questions for 2 minutes. Any brother or sister have questions in the comment sections, or if you just want to say something in the comment section, we'll highlight what you say. Now's the time to do so. Y'all brothers have any questions in the room? Also, if you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to Hollywood Israelites. Make sure you also go over to TikTok and follow brothers on TikTok. Brothers bringing it out heavy. Follow brothers on Instagram, Hollywood Israelites. Follow anything Israelite School UPK. Follow anything ISUPK. Any zone. Nope. All right. We're the Israelite School UPK, so out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General Yohana, Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian. Our salvation is nearer than we believed. And with that, we're going to say shalom.